We're recording now. Hello and welcome to another episode, interview series here at Open Source Workplace. My name is Steve Todd. I'm the founder of Open Source Workplace. Each week we try to bring you a video that brings more information and ideas to the workplace environment. And today I'm bringing something a little bit different, something that you may not be totally aware of as a product, as a company, or as a mindset. So today I'm super excited to be bringing and talking to Juraj, who is the CEO of Somavedic. Somavedic, this is their product. We're going to learn a little bit more about what this does. But Juraj, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Stephen. Thank you for the introduction.
No. Thank you. So Juraj, right off the bat, what should people know about you and your company?
Yes. So as you already said, I'm the CEO of Somavedic Technologies of the US branch, because we have European headquarters and then the US branch. And basically, we are a producer of, let's say, it's a frequency therapy device and is mitigating the negative effects of EMF, electromagnetic radiation, that is all everywhere around us. So that we'll go on later to that, but that would be a very like nutshell.
Yeah, no, and it's like you were sort of losing me in sort of the technology in it. But again, that's what we got to get to, right? We got to understand what is the product and what are the benefits and why should we be even considering this, one in our homes and also in our workplaces. But before we get into that, I want to sort of dial back. You're a computer science graduate. What I'm finding more and more as I talk to people, how many computer science folks are actually getting into the workplace environment. What drew you to computer science?
Well, since my teenage years, I was interested in computers. I mean, lots of children were at that time. I know, like, all the Pentiums, Intel processor were starting. So I was just drawn to it, and then I was studying it. Ended up studying it at the university. Graduated that, but. My jobs after that were not in the in the IT sector. I was always in between different things. Yeah, but it's still, I love the IT, love the technology, but never worked in that specific area.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And one of the benefits that sort of, it never occurred to me, but as I've sort of got introduced and got to know more computer scientists, especially those who have graduated with that sort of degree, I've learned it's more of a process, a mind process in how you deal with things that can be translated into other, call it functions, call it roles. Have you found that experience to be true?
Yes, that's right. Because at the I just came like a memory of when I was at the university. I was always, let's say, like hacking ways. Now it's the word hacking, but making like shortcuts that were helping me. And this mindset like stayed basically until now, because it's a mindset. So I apply that in everyday life and work. So yeah, that would be true.
No, that's interesting. So one thing I did want to touch on about your past is you volunteered at the Singularity University Summit 2016. What interests you? What sort of what prompted you to get involved in that, and also what were the lessons you learned there?
Yes, so I found out about Peter Diamandis, his videos, they were amazing. So yeah, I started following that, reading his books, and I was fascinated by the times where we live in, at the exponential like age, where like digitalization and platforms are the movement of or the ecosystem where we are right now. And yeah, I've read somewhere a great advice on if you want to get into a conference and be like even closer to the people around it, apply as a volunteer. So I've done that, because I was organizing some conferences in Prague, I got accepted, and yeah, I've been helping the people there in Amsterdam. It was. And it's been a great experience. I mean, to in a nutshell, there was like the spectrum of industries from biology, IT, cryptocurrency, finance, health. It was amazing to follow and to watch where we are right now, and what will be possible in the just very short coming years.
It's staggering whenever you see some of the presentations there and where you see the technology is and where they're anticipating it to be, 5 years from today. But they were talking about this 5 years ago. It's fascinating. And Peter Diamandis and Steve Kotler's book, The Bold, was one of the things that prompted me to start Open Source Workplace, because you read about these future technologies, and I'm working in an environment today that doesn't have those technologies. So what do I think the environment is going to be 3, 4, 5 years from now? And then also, how do I prepare myself to be of service to an organization with those technologies in place? So I actually I follow Peter Diamandis a lot also, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to ask you the question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you then went and you started working as an incubator, where you're exposed to and also providing guidance for startups. How was that experience?
Yes, that's as like exponential technologies, IT, that was always like my thing. Yeah, I was working in a startup, AI startup incubator. Like basically, we were bridging the gap between investors and startups. So and at that time I was already interested in startups and in the whole startup ecosystem, and I found it great great experience to be like hands-on, working with the startups, working with the mentors and investors and connecting them, and how all of that work, or all the dynamics and contracts. So that's been great, definitely.
So you've always been interested in that sort of technology, the future technologies, and that's sort of what's inspired you. And I assume that's what led to your introduction to Somavedic and eventually the CEO role.
Yes, yes. Already, as I was in the incubator, I was already introduced to Somavedic, a friend of mine, because like officially I'm with Somavedics for 2 years and 2 or 3 months, but I know them for more than 3 years. So yes, a friend of mine introduced me to the Somavedic device, and I was immediately blown away, drawn to it. But it was after my first experience and experience of people I gave met Somavedic to, where I found it, yeah, like this is really something, and I want to pursue it more.
So let's break down the actual product itself, right? What is its function? And I want to use the right term, and I have it just written down, so that's why I'm looking to my left. Harmonizing the environment around you. What does that mean?
Yes, so to understand, I would like to go back a bit on how it was created and why.
Okay.
So the founder, Ivan Rybyansky, Czech inventor, he was struggling quite a lot with his health. He had problems with pancreas and some other organs, and yeah, the doctors were just giving him like pills, and they said like, yeah, like this is for the rest of your life. And he decided to do something about it, and he started to study Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine and precious stones and minerals. And after some time, he was basically able to heal himself thanks to that. So then he was helping other people with what he've learned. So he was recommending them different, let's say, alternative medicine from that work that came out from Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine. And people started approaching him that they have problems with geopathic zones and geopathic stress. We can get back to a bit later what that is. It's just negative frequencies coming from below the earth in a nutshell. And at that time, he had the idea to basically put together what he've learned and what worked on him to all the know-how to put in a device. So he started to experiment with different precious stones and minerals, putting together some kind of frequency uh, technology. And in 2010, there was the first Samovetic that was born, and even the first one was showing great results. So that was that, and how it is actually working and how it's different from other like devices, the similar devices that are out there, is that, as I mentioned already, in the green corpus that you were holding, that's a crystal corpus, and inside are like real physical precious stones and minerals and precious metals as well. So, and they basically work with each other, and they are supporting each other and amplifying each other and creating a field around the unit. And there is also some kind of technology that is supporting and amplifying it. So, so that field that is around the unit is basically on the cellular level, is creating a space where our cells are not that negatively affected by the EMF. So we have studies and lots of testimonials confirming this. But to put it, yeah, this is how it works. This is and how it came to be.
So, I mean, I have one, so I bought into the story, right? But for anyone who's skeptical, who's saying, you're putting these precious stones and metals together, is there research that you've actually done or you can speak of that sort of indicate the benefits that you've found?
Yes, definitely. So we've tested that in Germany, in Austria, in Slovenia, for different biomarkers, blood pressure, HRV, and all of the tests showed like positive results. We have these published on our webpage. These were not clinical trials, but they were done by a third-party laboratory. And right now, we are in the middle of a real clinical trial that is done by Czech doctors, and that will be a double-blinded study measuring HRV, free radicals, and blood pressure and psychological state. Yeah.
That's great. And HRV, for those who don't know, is heart rate variability, where
Yeah.
basically you're able to measure the distance or the gap between heartbeats, which then dictates how well your body's recovered from exercise and so on and so forth. And yeah, it's a really interesting one. And it's actually, I track it. Obviously, I wear the Aura ring, so I'm very familiar with those things. So we have research. You're able to illustrate, and it actually reduces free radicals within the body. Is there specific, and obviously you have different devices that do different things. How did that product evolve, and where did you start? Because obviously the one that I have, I use it to structure my water. I use it to sort of block a lot of EMFs. So I'm just curious how it sort of evolved.
Yes, sure. That's a great question. So, as I mentioned before, like people might think that you just put some precious stones and minerals together and you get Samovetic, but that's actually not how it's working. Because otherwise, like you would be able, like anybody that knows a bit about them would be able to put something similar together. But this is not the case. It's actually almost with any other product you are developing, there is like a R&D behind it, like error and trial, and you have to like try that. And so I'll just when you mentioned the structured water, I'll just like tell like a short story about how that was developed. So to for Samovetic to structure water, there has to be some specific combination of precious stones and minerals, obviously, but it has to be done the right way. So the very first model that was used to structure water, you actually had to put a specific amount of water next to the unit for specific amount of time, let's say 1 gallon for 20 minutes. If you would leave that longer, the water wouldn't taste well. It would be just like too bust or whatever. So this took a while to fine tune that, and now the final product, the Atlantic model or the Medigreen Ultra you have, that we are selling for several years now, it's that it's it works in a way that no matter the amount of water you put next to it, for no matter the time, it just stays 100% harmonized, 100% structured. And it's a similar way as the Samovedic is creating the environment, the coherent field. It is the same way how it is structuring the water with the field that it's generating.
So what do we say? Because there's going to be skeptics that listen to this and watch this, right? How do we, I mean, obviously we've got the evidence, but what other ways do you sort of help people get over that in a sense of, right, we live in this environment, we know there's EMF, right? You just go onto your phone, you check the local Wi-Fi's and it's a plethora of, individual Wi-Fi's. And then you go into the workplace, that gets amplified because, New York City, you've got cell towers on the roof of most large buildings. You've got organizations put cell repeaters into their workplace to amplify the cell reception. So how could something like the Samovedic be applied, or how do we sort of, negate some of the skepticism that's out there around those waves and the impact it may have on the human body?
Yes, so except the studies that we have and that are already showing that the Samovedic in has like positive effects on our biology, uh, there it's how to put it. So people in general, when they more sensitive people, let's say if because you can base this on two things. Let's say the studies that we have and the ones that are in the middle of that. And then there are the experiences of people, which we had tons of them. And the most common things that are like, it's like a repeating pattern that is like, well, like it's a custom experience, is that people, they sleep better, they have more energy during the day. When they have some of it in the office, they can focus more clearly. Their brain fog is gone, or especially with women, their headaches are gone, or just disappear. So we have, for example, two doctors that we send them, we've sent them the units, and they said that when they had it in their office, they still do, but have that. But they wrote us like a short testimonial that that they had just more, they had just felt better, had more energy, especially towards the end of the day, and in that way they could basically treat more patients. So at the end, they were more productive. So you can read like quite a wide spectrum of testimonials, and then you can also like look at our studies. And we had quite very skeptical doctors here in Czech Republic, and we gave them free radicals test strips, like a paper strip that you can buy on Amazon for like $20 or so. And they've done the measurements, and there's a scale from 0 to 4, and they had 3 to 4, somewhere between 3 to 4, which is high levels of free radicals. And they got scared because they know like what free radical means, and like even general public is aware of that. Is the oxidative stress, like your cells are aging faster. So they got a big scare because they never done this experiment or test before. And we gave them a Samovedic, and in 2 days they've done the test again, and it turned out that their free radical levels were normal, which basically blew their mind, and they all of a sudden become like great fans and supporters of Samovedi, because they've seen actual proof, because they are very sensitive, the free radical strips, so they were able to see it. It was a like a home test, but it was valid, and right now we are doing like official study on that.
Yeah, no, that's great context. It is, and I'll attest. I when I got the device, I turned it on, and I will say, and it is noted in the actual box that you may feel effect of drowsiness and a change in your body over the first couple of days as the body and your environment acclimatizes. to the Somavedic, and I certainly did. I did get a little bit of a head flu. Absolutely, I did, but that passed. And obviously, now that I come home and I'm in an environment that I'm used to that environment, my body's used to that environment, I do feel more at ease and I do feel more energized. It's really interesting. And also, it glows green, which is awesome. And as I said, I use it to structure my water. So I think it's a great product. So what is the future for Somavedic? I mean, what is your aspirations? You, the CEO of the US branch, is it looking to expand into the US market?
Yes, yes. We've set up the US branch in November last year. Since then, I've spent some time in San Francisco and LA, and I'm getting back in March and April. And since then, it's been a basically great ride, great feedback. And so far, we were focused on B2C sector, but right now we are adding like B2B because it's not only that it has like huge potential, but most of the people that are affected by EMF, it's in the like in work, in office, in co-working spaces, in offices. So we, from the experience we have already from customers that have it at the work, we wanna like provide a solution that would make like employees feel better, have more energy, have more brain power, just feel more relaxed and work. And at the end of the day, they would be more productive. So this is what we are starting to do right now, to basically partner up with companies to help them.
Great. No, and I think EMF is one of the biggest taboo topics in workplace. It's sort of, we're conscious of it's there, but they're actually, it's really hard because you can't measure it. And I said, well, you can obviously measure it because you can, yeah, obviously get meters, but what I'm saying is you physically can't see it. You can't judge how it's impacting, and we don't really know the sciences. There are studies that show the impact of it from generations ago, but as these new technologies and the actual frequencies get lower and minimize the impact of the human body. But then I'm also looking, okay, 5G is going to come online in New York City. What impact is that going to have on the human body? And we spend so much time in the workplace. How do workplace providers and organizations provide that environment that is safe to employees and allows them to sort of feel that much more productive and eliminate that cloudiness? So would your recommendation be it actually sits in a open office environment, or would it be, you expose yourself to it in a wellness room where maybe you're going to relax for 20 minutes, 30 minutes? What is actually the best way to experience Somavedic?
The best way to experience would be it's both. It's basically because it's very subtle energies. So you'll feel it, but it not that you just turn it on and all of a sudden you will like you'll feel something. But this is happening. This and some people are so sensitive they can feel that. But for example, my experience, my first experience when I brought some Vedic home, I turned it on and my jaw was buzzing, like from electricity and like what's going on. And I just, it's, you can think of it like that's just the light where precious stones, minerals are inside, but how come is this happening? So like after an hour that was gone, and I felt the next day is like, yeah, more clarity, more energy. But for me, the biggest difference was when I brought some of it to my work. And when I was, because when you go to work, like for 1, 2, 3, 5 years to the same place, you know how you feel when you are leaving about at 4, 5, 6, whatever. And so when I brought some Vedic there, and the same day when I was leaving, I looked at the watch and I said like, oh my God, like I'm leaving, but I feel totally different. I could work next 4 or 5 hours. There was a huge difference for me, and you wouldn't notice until you see the difference. You don't notice this. You take it as normal. So for me, it was the biggest difference, noticeable difference was when I had it in work. But most people have it at home, so they feel, yeah, as I said, it's the energy, headaches, mood, sleep. So yeah.
Great, great. And I'm really looking forward to seeing your clinical studies and double blind and placebo effect and what that actually results in, because it's fascinating. I think it is. And the more we can do to sort of also raise the awareness of EMF exposure in the workplace and provide ways to mitigate it, I think it's good for all. So every interview, I always ask this last question. And what advice or guidance would you give if somebody wanted to maximize workplace productivity or the employee experience? With your experience or what you do at Somavedic, is there any guidance you would give the audience?
Yes, yes, there is. I'll get back to this shortly. I'll just explain one like important note that people, quite a lot of them ask that Samavedic does not like block the EMF, like your Wi-Fi, cell phone, everything is still working. It's creating like a different field, so you can have it in the office. So that's perfectly fine.
It's a great clarification. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and for the workplace, how to make it more relaxed or make people more relaxed, more focused. What helped me is to do like regular breaks, like on a, it can be on a 30-minute basis, 45-minute basis, hour basis. This is something that helped me when I was not like working 3 hours straight, but when I was taking like regular breaks. At the end of the day, I felt much more energy. My brain was working better. So this is in an yeah, this is what worked for me, what I would recommend. There are different tools that you can track it. So nowadays that's quite easy, but it's a free tool, free hack that anybody can use.
And whenever you said take a break, do you get up, move away from wherever it is you're sitting and go for a walk, or what does that break look like, and how long is that break typically?
Yes, exactly. That's you'll just stand up and walk away, go for a walk to I don't know, like for 10, 15 minutes, you go for drink or I mean like water or coffee or whatever. Or just if you have a park next to it or just go outside. So, but mainly to disconnect from the environment you are in, from the work you are in, just give your brain a break, and it works wonders.
Great, great. And so, Yuri, before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to raise that maybe we haven't touched on?
I think that regarding Somavedic, how it's working, then well, we didn't mention the field, how the big how the
Yeah, great, great. Yeah,
yeah. So it's creating a field of 100 feet in radius. It's penetrating walls and floors. So when you have it in your living room, it's surrounding almost your whole apartment. Uh, so you don't need to have that in your bedroom. And the other important thing that we didn't mention, just slightly, is the 5G and EMF. So, for example, I read an article today. I think it was on New York Times published that Switzerland decided to postpone the 5G because they had to do like more studies because there are no studies that shown that it's safe. And as you mentioned, EMF it's not very talked about in the mainstream, and there are like more than 10,000 studies showing the negative effects on human and animal cells and biology. So the science is there. It's just there's no escaping to that, because of course I use the technology every day. I don't want to like get rid of it. There just has to be, in a way, some kind of balance. So this would be like what I would like to add to that.
no, and thank you. And that's where you're absolutely right, right? As organizations, we don't want to take away the convenience of access to Wi-Fi or any other of
Yeah,
those frequencies, but at the same time, we want to do good by everybody by doing the right thing. And obviously, yeah, I believe in some of it. I haven't had it in my home. But yeah, so look, thank you, Yuri. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your insights and sharing your ideas with us and sharing the product. So
yeah,
thank
yeah. Thank you, Stephen, very much for this opportunity. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.